is awkward. It's just like
It's always a little bit weird, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, with that, I think we're gonna get things underway. Oh yeah. Gonna be good.
You know, I did have chat hidden. Let me just get you guys back up. There we go.
I got chat. All right, countdown happened. If this was GDQ, I'd be doing it, but I'm not.
There we go.
Here we go. All right, immediately checking the shop, seeing what they get. Interesting. We got a purple chest.
We got a purple
could mean
chest.
Something.
Not ideally what you want to see. You know, it's not great. I think if you see this, you're probably considering killing on the next floor. Maybe you get enough money and then you open that purple chest. I don't think that's a bad idea. But generally 1-1 shops, they're not always the greatest. Sometimes you do find like a ring of becoming in a blood shovel, but it's not that common.
Yeah, I am gonna defer to Mac a little bit more in commentary than usual because when it comes to score, it's been a while. Let's be real.
Yeah, I've been getting back into the rhythm of score. Yeah.
So we'll have to see how it goes. But I guess there does add a larger luck factor, I believe, in these races comparatively. I mean, this kind of harkens back a little bit to our classic Condor where we did just full on unseeded. Now it is seeded, but you have some pretty massive differences in luck in potential. For example, if one of our racers goes for that purple chest and it ends up being something really strong, like a Ring of Becoming, then no one else is going to get And just check the blood shop there, and that is indeed a blood whip. So main thing here is not screwing up the blood shop kill. Dying early is bad. It was something that we couldn't really account for in terms of
yeah, there's not really a format
set.
you can run to kind of alleviate that, and it is sudden death is what we should point out. If you die, that's it. However many gold you have, that's that's the score that you end up with.
So Problems' choice right there to open the purple chest and see what it was a very smart one. Now that is going to show all the other racers what's in that purple chest, and that is my understanding is a pretty strong ring. So
the regen's pretty good. Basically, you'd no longer have to worry about maybe you find a gold weapon and your blood shovel, but you're kind of you're not doing great on health. With the ring of regen, you really don't have to worry anywhere near as much. You'll see here he's actually going to use his blood drum to dig out a couple of squares of
Problems going for some early health, or sorry, some early blood drum strats. So the blood drum allows you to do an infinite dig. We're gonna probably talk about some mechanics in the game that you don't normally see, including how the blood drum can be used to open up shop walls. The main meta, we should probably talk about that, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but the main meta is get health regen, lots of heart containers, and a blood shovel.
That's because basically it. You kind of hit the nail on the head there. The key thing with score is you really do want to find that blood shovel so that you can enable yourself to dig out, whether it's the regular shops on floors or the secret shops, things like the transmog, the conjurer. That's what you're kind of aiming to do, is be able to dig those out. The other key thing is you want to get that crown of greed as well. You want that double gold. Oblivion's having a bit of a time.
Oblivion have a really hard time with it, and it can be real sketchy. He's trying... and he killed the dragon. He was trying to get all the stuff out of that shop. Now, I do want to point out that 2 of our racers have taken the crown, 2 have not. And so we're going to see a pretty large difference in the builds, probably, between Cyber and Jack versus Oblivion and Problems.
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
Oblivion and Problems have no crown yet, so they're still able to shop in the shop. It looks like Jack is gonna, Problems opted to kill the dragon as well. He didn't want to shoot the shopkeeper. If you shoot the shopkeeper with the dragon, you can steal all the equipment in there without having to kill the shopkeeper. So it looks like Jack is gonna go for a leprechaun here. So this is another huge part. Can you explain how the leprechaun works?
So the leprechaun, you need to spawn the leprechaun, you need to have a pile of 50 gold or greater, and then I believe you have to wait 7 beats, and then on the 8th beat the leprechaun spawns. Now the leprechaun has 4 health. If you have 4 damage and you just hit the leprechaun, that's it, it's gone. You just get a single pile of gold and your lucky charm. What you want to do is have less than 4 damage and hit him once, and then just basically run either down or across a completely unobstructed alley. He will drop up to 16 or 15 piles of gold. I can't remember exactly because I'm always awful with leprechauns and never maximize them.
I think it's 15, but I also don't really know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure someone in chat should know.
Yeah, the key thing for score runs, as well as all the gold that you get from the leprechaun, is you do kind of want that lucky charm. You know, it means you no longer have to worry about bats, and once you get to zone 4 and you're already likely having to handle enemies with a 1 damage weapon, or sometimes if you're lucky a 2 damage weapon, just being able to forget about bats is incredibly useful.
Yeah.
And then just to throw back to a point Elad made about, oh, you're going to see some different, not necessarily layouts, but certainly items, with Cyber and Jack both killing early on the shopkeeper. So, we don't know why it happens, but if you kill the shopkeeper on a different floor, it does some wacky stuff with the seed. So you'll likely see a bit of build divergence from our top 2 and our bottom 2 racers, who's the bottom 2, Oblivion and Prob, still haven't killed the shopkeeper.
Though I will point out that now all of our racers have gotten the blood shovel, although Cyber I think is about to get it here. So finding the transmute early means you can get an early blood shovel, which is quite nice. And since all of our racers have health regen with that ring, you're gonna see them using their blood shovel quite a bit to get as much gold as possible.
Absolutely. The blood shovel, again, is the key item for these runs, being able to dig out those shops. They all have ring of regen as well, which is really nice. 3 of our racers are running that gold whip still. We might see more of them swap to that. In fact, no, we might see Oblivion.
Blood.
Yeah, he just has.
I love that idea. I think that's genius.
That's a really, really smart idea, because ultimately you want as much regen as you possibly can. The ring of regen is nice, but you only get that heart after you complete a floor. And you hop down to the next one. With a blood weapon, you're getting regen on the floor, which can be really key.
Yeah, and also, you know, how wonky that whip is. So the
Yeah.
gold weapons give you, what is it, +2 or +1 gold pieces per kill?
I think it's plus 1.
Yeah, and so it's valuable because you get more gold per enemy killed. But, of course, it's a little spicy when you get hung up on things. Remember that snag factor we've talked about with the whip.
Good old snag factor.
So, now, there is a holster going on. Now, that's a very interesting thing. So Oblivion's got a holster with a blood weapon, so he's going to actually be able to use both. That's actually the same situation with Problems. So we're seeing Oblivion and Problems kind of run the same build, more or less.
Yeah, they both killed on the same floor, so they're going to be pretty much equal. Unless they do some other shenanigans to find different items, they're going to be relatively similar. And just what Elad was talking about, you know, snag factor. The worst score weapon has got to be the gold whip. Sorry, it's horrendous. You get hung up so much, you're only doing 1 damage. You generally don't get gold kills with it either, because you get hung up on stuff and you're not that maneuverable.
But importantly, you have to take it, because
absolutely,
it's better than like a base dagger. So unfortunately, you have to take it. There's a ring of gold, and Problem's thinking about whether he takes the ring of gold or not, and he does. Looks like Oblivion also took the ring of gold, so I'm curious to see if Jack or Cyber goes with the ring of gold. Looks like Cyber is going with the ring of gold, and Jack still fighting his boss here, probably trying to set up the gold kill, and he got it a little bit delayed, but that's okay.
Yeah, he had to hit the king once, but it's, again, ring of regen and ring of gold. It's a little bit of a toss-up as to which one you want. What you'll see here is Oblivion, he's going to leprechaun, but he had to wait, because with the ring of gold, when you move, you pick up all the gold. So he had to wait in place and drop his multiplier for 7 beats, and then his leprechaun spawned. It's something I've never mastered. I just always immediately moved, and I'm like, oh well, I guess I'll do it next floor.
Yeah, Problem's doing a nice job on that arena there. Boss arenas are kind of fun too, because you can get even more gold, because you can dig out the bottom walls before starting the fight, and then you get even more gold because like new walls spawn. It's very strange. It deletes the walls that are directly below you, and then but if you break them and you get the gold out of them first, then you can get a little extra gold from them. So there's a lot of ways to optimize. That's certainly going to be the story of today, is all the different optimizations you can do in these score runs. And a lot of this score optimization has been figured out through, and we see Problems doing his leprechaun now as well.
Yep, he's probably going to get a maximized leprechaun here.
Uh-oh.
Oh, He's gonna, yeah, okay, he didn't get as many as he would like. I don't think he realised that Mimic Wall was there, so he had to deal with that. And then that white spawned, which, you know, we all love whites. They're the
whites.
best
Thanks,
thing in the game.
Yeah, so I will want to point out, Oblivion is about to do his boss arena, so he should be digging out the bottom first, although he did not do
I
that.
don't
Maybe
know
it was
how
a health
well
thing.
known that that glitch
That
actually
was some
is.
pretty old score meta, but maybe it's
Maybe
so
it's
old
too
that
old,
it's been
yeah.
forgotten. Sands of time, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, we see Jack also in the arena and not doing the same thing. Now, I guess the big difference here, Jack kept that ring of regen, which means he's going to waste a lot of extra beats having to go walk around and pick up all of the gold, but he will be able to ultimately dig out more floors because a heart keel every floor translates to, oh, you see Jack broke the bottom there, so he's getting a little extra gold out of that. But what I was going to say is that translates to, what is it, another 200 gold?
It must be,
It's
yeah,
20
it's
per
pretty
wall. Not quite 200, 80.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, sorry.
20, 40, 60, 80 per wall. So it's 80, 160. So every single, every single heart you get, half heart you get, is 80 more gold. So when you get a full heart every floor, it ends up being, 160 gold. Math.
Math is...
We got some Team Oblivion in chat. I love it. It's kind of fun because you can really cheer on your racers because it's such a longer sort of marathon style.
Yeah, exactly.
Run, so you can cheer on your team. I know there's some Problems fans in chat right now. I know Steak is Steak has won the past two, right? Is that right?
He has, yes. He won CoNDScore 3 and 4. And it was, well, it happened. We all love Steak.
Isn't exactly known as a score runner, but he's won the past couple, so we'll see. The true score runners in this tournament, I would have to say, are like solely score runners would be Will Arsony, Problems, and Rat.
Yeah, those are the three. Those are the big boys. Those are the guys who should be your household names for score running. They've been doing it for so long. They're so good at it. It is
They play like all the dailies. They were the ones who designed most of the meta. A lot of the stuff that's been sorted out. I mean, keep in mind when you get this game out of the box, open it up, it doesn't come with an instruction manual on how to do score running. All this meta has had to come out through the community as well as just time spent doing score running, and it can be pretty complicated. There's a lot of little bits. Probably the biggest thing you first realize is that you have to take the Crown of Greed, and the Crown of Greed drops your gold every move. So you'll notice that every movement, every racer's taking, the gold drops by 1. And so that automatically means that you have to be super efficient with your movements. And that can be, that sort of turns it into a little bit of a higher pressure situation. Every movement you make costs you money. But ultimately, because the Crown of Greed gives you double gold pickups, so any 10 piles actually gonna be worth 20, as we saw with Problems there. You definitely want to take it. It ends up very much being way better than not taking it. That's all been tested.
Yeah, there's absolutely no argument, against taking the Crown of Greed. It's a necessity in score runs. And it's nice that whilst it is a necessity, it's not something that there's any kind of huge barrier to getting either. Get yourself 2 bombs and you're pretty much sorted. And on score runs, generally you're going to find those in zone 1 unless you get a super nasty seed.
Yeah. I will point out that Cyber is yet to get his Leprechaun, and he actually just tempted a red bat and lucked out and didn't die, but he was at half a heart. So you really got to be careful. Again, this is sudden death, so
yes. Cyber's kind of spooking me a little bit. I'm a little concerned.
The other thing I want to point out is that you often run at very low health because you need to utilize your health with the blood shovel to open up the gold shop walls. So you'll see our racers often running at very, very low health. You'll probably, if you're running optimally, every time you leave a floor, you should have half a heart.
Yes.
So,
Cyber is running half a heart, but it's not really by design.
Yeah. And I will point out, though, he's the only one with damage up. And damage up can really matter as well. If you think about it, every beat matters. And if you're fighting enemies that have, say, 7 health or whatever, then it's going to take 7 gold to kill it unless you have damage up. And every single damage up is going to reduce that amount by a lot, right? So if you have 2 damage, it's only going to take 3 hits 4 hits instead of 7. So that's, you know, and every little incremental amount of health beats you can save is going to increase your gold yield.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting decision for Jack here. We'll need to see whether he's going to swap out to that Blood Spear. It doesn't look like he's going to. Generally, I'm of the opinion, and I think Probs is kind of along the same lines as me. If you're running a build where you already have, like, maybe you have a Ring of Regen, and you have a Blood Shovel, then you want to be picking up a Blood Weapon in almost every situation, because you want that extra bit of regen. But Jack's going to stick with his Gold Whip, so...
He's doing a really good job of piling up the enemies in one spot. He's the only one without that gold ring, and if you can keep all your enemies in one spot, then you wind up not having to take as many steps because your gold's all piled up. It's sort of classical monk score strats, if anyone remembers classic monk score, which is you die when you touch the gold, so you have to make as big a pile as possible before jumping onto it and killing yourself. Oh, classic monk score was...
Why did we ever do that? Why did we ever do that to ourselves?
I was super pro it, because it was a completely different kind of score run than any of the other score runs in the game, which is why I loved it. You try and get to... Usually you'd try and get to like 1-3, because there's just a lot more higher gold value enemies, and then you just pile them up and kill yourself. That was also before the leprechaun was a thing.
Oh man, back in the days, Probs has got so much food in reserve here. It's crazy. A ham and a chicken. Still no food shop, so limited to 3 heart containers is every single racer right now.
Yeah, that late food shop is kind of a bit of a butt, because what you end up doing is leaving a lot of the shop walls intact. You're not able to break down as many shop walls, get as much gold out of it. So ultimately, in a top level seed, I think you want early transmute and early food.
Yeah, you want your early food shop to get your heart containers up, and the transmute just to get your blood shovel, basically.
Yep. Yeah, blood shovel's so important, or just, you know, an early blood shovel, I guess.
Yeah.
So
either or.
And Cyber, once again, not taking the leprechaun there. He had a really good opportunity to get the leprechaun, I thought, with that gold pile.
I think he might have already gotten his leprechaun. I think I saw in chat someone saying that he actually messed up his leprechaun kill. Oh,
so did he get hit?
I didn't see it personally.
A little bit lower on score, but not by a ton. Oh, and popping that giganticism scroll, so you're gonna wanna... Oh, nice! Did you see that?
I did indeed.
So the glass shopkeeper with a fireball there.
Possibly out of spite more than anything else, because you don't want to be seeing a glass shot. But as you're seeing here, one of the key synergies in score meta, blood shovel and the
giganticism.
Yes, there we go.
High level shovel and giganticism, although you should have a blood shovel by now.
Yeah, glass does also work.
If you have a secret shop and your main shop close to each other, you can end up doing a lot of good in cleaning out. As you can see, Cyber didn't spend any of his health, but managed to dig out both shops pretty much, which is a lot of value gold. Keeping that health means he's going to be able to use that health in the future for more gold from more shops.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all like the nicest thing is just finding 2 shops right next to one another. And it's like, cool, so I just get a ton of gold and I haven't really had to do much.
Yeah. I will say that score mode, you can kind of think of it as like shopkeeper vandal simulator. Because the main meta is to just totally vandalize all of the shops on the levels.
Yeah, anything you go through, if you go to a travel rune, if you have to go through a travel rune, to get to it, then you're probably going to be destroying it at some point.
Yeah. It's just wrecking crew over here.
Should we rename score the Travel Rune Tango? Is that what we should do?
Yes. Absolutely.
It's no longer CoNDScore or Scoredor, it's the Travel Rune Tango.
Yep. It takes 2 to tango, and it's Cadence and the shopkeeper.
Exactly.
Tango.
Very nice for Oblivion. So he's going to get a second Gigantism scroll. He's found the Shrine of War. Now, again, it's another key component of good score runs. You do want that Shrine of War, and you want to hit it. You want all of your enemies to be the strongest version of themselves that they can be, because that's going to give you significantly more gold. He was only able to use the scroll to dig out the Shriner, but he's still sitting pretty. You know, that's a pretty nice gold total. For 3-3, numbers are hard. You're probably going to see him leave this floor pretty soon actually. I didn't realize he dug out his other shop. It's going to be good, don't worry.
I want to point out that Problems did a thing that I've seen him do so many times, and he really spends the time to utilize those sacrifice shrines, something that's very much not used during speed unless you're sacrificing a mini boss on it. But basically the idea of the shrines is the sacrifice shrines is you sacrifice 5 enemies on it, and it gives you a choice of 3 items. But in addition, if you bomb that shrine after you kill it, you get a heart container, a full heart container, which again is really valuable. That's another 160 gold plus whatever you end up filling it with. So it's very good. And we're gonna see all of our racers probably utilize that Shrine of War. Problems realizing he's gonna be getting another Giganticism scroll, so he pops it here.
Yeah, so once he gets that second one, he's gonna have the ability to do exactly what he's just done, but all over again.
Yep.
He's already dug out the shop on 3-3, so not much use to this floor. Smartly remembering and keeping an eye on when that scroll was about to run out so he didn't get dunked by that blue dragon.
Just to point out what Will was talking about in chat, in case you missed it, a bunch of hot dogs all jumped down a trapdoor at the same time, pretty much. They all just kept piling down there, and that is not what you want to see. Because every enemy that jumps down a trapdoor is less gold for you.
Exactly.
So you want to conserve your enemies and make sure you kill them and not drop them down the trapdoor.
Exactly. It was really strange. I think there were 2 below him in that little kind of enclave, and then there was one that was already up in that corner, and the 2 that were below him, they both jumped on teleport traps. it was something.
Yeah, it was pretty magical. So we've got onto zone 4. All of our racers still intact, which is wonderful. Oblivion has been definitely going the fastest through, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It could be. It's hard to say. If he's fast, that might mean he's conserving a lot of, efficient movement, which is nice. But it also is something to keep in mind. He is ahead in terms of score, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to win because he's going to finish first. So something to keep in mind. He did find the food shop, though. Imagine all of our racers are likely going to find that food shop on 4-1. And that is a big spider.
Yeah, that is. That's too big.
I was going to say, it could have been another Giganticism scroll, but it was not.
Really nice use of the Infernal Torch there.
Ooh, by Problems as well. That was really sexy.
Yeah, I know Probs is a huge proponent of that Infernal Torch, just because of you being able to get kills like that. It's super useful, especially in Zone 4. Like, if you're struggling, you're surrounded by goo, but you can still dig out the wall, then you can just hit that and then take care of a bunch of enemies. Is this another one of these things you're as well taking over a big torch, unless it's a glass torch, just because of the fact it mitigates a lot of the problems of score builds.
And I will point out something that's kind of fun is that and nice Problems using Giganticism scroll here. He's going to be getting a lot of gold out of this food shop. The one thing I wanted to point out though is I find it kind of fun that the 2 sort of specialty torches, like Torch of Foresight and Torch of Infernal Torch, are like the 2 kind of best respective runs for for score and speed. Yeah, which I think is kind of nice. It's not like the base stuff is so good. I mean, obviously glass has got its value as well, but I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a really nice kind of dichotomy.
We'll see what happens with the shake weight torch that's coming out in the next
That's
one.
the official name, by the way, the shake weight torch.
Kind of looks like one. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to give Ted a hard time, but
Ted does some good work.
He does some great work. I do think it's actually going to be a Torch of Strength.
Yeah, something like that. Another interesting thing that I only noticed this recently is, again, I'm assuming it comes down to the fireball priority, is if you dig straight onto a what do you call them? One of the gold spiders. So you'll see that one on the right-hand side there for props. If that was 1 square to the right, and he was to dig that wall, then the fireball would actually just kill the spider straight up.
Yeah, Problems killed the gigantic spider doing that exact move, which was very nice.
Yeah, it's just the kind of things that you really don't see often.
Yeah, people don't spend the time to do that in a speedrun, so... I mean, I'll say this probably a number of times tonight, but best thing about running score is it's just such a unique thing compared to what we normally see on Condor, and I think that that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
here's you're seeing Oblivion have to mitigate those goblin bombers. That's a real issue, and any bomb that you didn't place is going to not leave gold when you kill an enemy, so you have to be really careful about where those bombs wind up. If a goblin bomber kills like 4 enemies, that is a lot of gold that you just lost. Yeah, GG, no re. So Problems, by the way, with the most health, so he wins that award. He gets the most health award here. I think healed up to the appropriate amount and then used a ham, so he got a lot of heart containers out of that. Yeah, which again is super valuable.
He's in exactly the position you want to be. 4 full hearts. He's only got his blood weapon for regen right now, which kind of sucks. But I don't think we've seen a potion yet this seed. So
the other thing that's kind of hard to talk about, the reason we run 4 racers at the same time is because if anyone dies and we're only running 2, then you just kind of watch one person do a score run. But obviously, if you have, it's not that great. It's not that compelling. It doesn't make for good TV. But if we have the 4, sometimes what happens, and what is definitely happening here with these 4 very talented score runners, is that we're getting all these amazing little all these amazing little moves everybody's doing to optimize their score. And at the end, we're going to see probably a few thousand gold difference in scores, and it's going to be hard to totally nail down specifically why that's happening, because it's death by 1,000 cuts. It's every tiny little detail. So it's important to kind of just keep your eye on everybody. We'll try and do our best to point out, the major things that happen. Typically, they'll be bad. But
someone dropped their beat. Don't do that.
Yeah, dropping your beat obviously is bad in a score.
This black skeleton for Oblivion, giving him a little bit of trouble. It popped out of that crate. He was just trying to see what was in the crate, and then surprise, it's nothing positive.
Oblivion finding the pawn shop. He's going to be using this spear to kill the pawnbroker. Very nicely done.
Very well done.
Mm-hmm. Now, you could sell your stuff, but as it turns out, you don't get that much gold from selling your stuff. At least I don't think so.
No,
it's not a ton.
If you have a bunch of extra items that you're like, yeah, I can live without those, then maybe you sell them. But none of these guys, it's one of these things. It's risk reward. You're selling stuff that's got you through the rest of the run so far. You're comfortable with what you're running already. Is it really worth just disrupting that kind of balance?
Here's Jack taking out a 3x3 black bat closet. There's a lot of gold to be had in there, and he does a great job. The whip can actually be good for that kind of thing, if you're sort of standing back and just whipping everything. But I think the big difference here we're gonna see between if there's a massive difference with Jack's score, it's probably because he didn't go with the gold ring, so he's spending a lot of extra beats, having to go pick up all that gold. It could work out, though. It seems like because there's a lot of health everywhere and there wasn't a lot of heart containers, it kind of didn't work
down goes Oblivion!
Jack, and down goes Oblivion. Yeah, probably. You know how much that Dead Ringer kills our racers in speed? Well, now you've got Dead Ringer with a Shrine of War enacted. So, yeah, that's going to happen.
Yeah, Dead Ringer with Shrine of War is one of the worst experiences in this game. It's absolutely awful. I can't count the number of times I've gotten to Dead Ringer, and all of a sudden it's like, cool, here's 2 black skeleton raiders, and you just have to deal with that with a 1 damage weapon. Yeah,
you usually have 1 damage and a lot of black skeleton riders. It's kind of the worst. So that is definitely not the last time we're going to see someone die from Dead Ringer today. But a decent score, 14,532. We can see Problems already has a higher score than that. He is on 4-3 as well. So if he can manage to get through, he's going to have a pretty solid score, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's a really nice score to be sitting at.
Getting a little spicy there with that. One thing I've seen from Problems when I've watched him on his stream is he's really good at not getting super spooked out. He can really scoot between enemies very effectively. He's really, really good at making very efficient movements to kill everything really fast, but also not get yourself killed. So
yeah, absolutely. The key thing I think this
going down, or 16,000 going down to Dead Ringer.
Yeah, I think the key thing that's actually helping him out is that he is running a blood broadsword now. Probs absolutely adores broadswords. He thinks as a score runner, he thinks they're the best weapon in the game, and I can understand having that point of view. I'm not sure what he's done here though.
The red dragon though. That's the thing. That green dragon is now red.
There he goes.
Down he goes, 16,095. So he's currently in the lead. We've got Cyber actually now on Dead Ringer. If he can get through Dead Ringer, that is a blue dragon. Yeah, he's taking it super slow, and I think that is very wise. You gotta be careful though with that whip though. He's got a whip. It's gonna be complicated. He's gonna get hung up on all of the things.
Oh man, Dead Ringer just not being kind.
And Jack, who definitely I think is sort of behind in terms of how his score's coming along. He might have a good shot if all our other racers end up going down. I will also point out all this sort of finagling of Dead Ringer is gonna cost Cyber a lot of gold. But
yeah, this is taking him a little bit of time.
You're gonna get more gold. So, oh, and he's getting a little complicated with these luring strats.
I mean, if I'm Cyber, I'm maybe just trying to lure Dead Ringer up to the top and then just use that Fireball scroll to hit those 2 bells.
Yeah, or lure him to the bottom and then Fireball, yeah?
Yeah, sorry, I meant, that's what I meant, but words are tricky.
No problem. Top, bottom.
Definitely don't lure him to the top of the room and then Fireball.
Yeah, that's what I was like, I don't know about that. See, I would have almost left those skeletons alive, but I guess there's that snag factor again. And he's still taking his sweet time with here. I don't blame him.
At least go and kill the sarcophagi.
Yeah, he should really be doing that. And
okay,
there
we go.
Fireballs him. Very nicely done. He's going to honk this bell, but I think you got to wait until Dead Ringer's down before you do it.
I think he's...
two Dead Ringer deaths.
Yeah, 2 nasty ones as well.
Okay, Cyber's still trying to get this. I think Jack's going to catch up to him in time, and Jack is actually... passing him in score right now.
Ooh, that's really nasty.
This is bad.
Down he goes.
Left. And down he goes, and that actually ends up putting him first, Cyber.
So we have had 3 Dead Ringer Dugs. It's all up to Jack. Is he going to be able to save us?
Oh my God.
Oh dear. And I mean, it obviously didn't have anything to do with it, but all those racers that died on Dead Ringer did take the Ring of Gold, so I don't know.
It could be the Ring of Gold.
It's cursed. It's just cursed.
Jack's got 4 hearts.
He's just
how much
gonna go.
total gold can you get if you optimize Dead Ringer and the Necrodancer?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Is it enough to get him over problems right now?
It should be. You should be able to get over 1,500.
He's going full lure here. This is okay. Oh no.
Well, there goes his
I'm spooked.
flawless.
I'm spooked. Oh yeah, that's right. He lost his flawless, but
I don't think he's going to care. He just wants off of this.
Yeah.
He wants off of this wild raid.
This is such a good call because now he's in second. I think if he gets
he's
an
got
efficient
this
Necrodancer,
easy.
he can get it. This could be all Jack, and I want to point out that Jack is probably, of all the pre-tournament chatter, Jack was definitely the least confident out of all of our racers.
Jack was very... Jack's not a score runner. He's a speed runner.
Though we've had a few people say, you know, remind me next time not to sign up for this.
Yeah, exactly.
But Jack has got this in the bag if he could just do a nice couple of lures. Now the trick with the lures is that you can't drop the beat.
Yes.
So he's got to do the lures kind of a little bit the slow way, but this is going to be perfect.
I think if he dropped the beat, I think he was going to come out on top in this one.
And Jack wins. Oh my God, Jack. With the win. What a frickin' run there. Jack, my man, with a 16-9-36 takes it. So that's your